Hello and welcome to FX Boom's Fitness Yoga Stretch for Extension Intolerant Back Pain. I'm Cindy Angulo, I'm the master trainer and I will be leading you through this workout. A couple things to remember: extension intolerant spines do not like to hyperextend. Back bends, wheel, cobra are not the best ideas. Laying on your stomach, not a great idea. So let's get started. First, we're going to do the cat-cow stretch. I want you to breathe in as you come up and extend and breathe out as you go down. We can also do kind of a circular motion around through that whole spine, just kind of getting things moving. If you need to stay here longer, please stop the video and hold it for a little bit longer. Now we're going to move into a T-spine opener where you drive an elbow into the ground, hand on your head, and you open your chest up towards the ceiling. Again, stop the video if you need to take more time and breathe through this exercise. And when you open up, you breathe in. As you close, you breathe out. Then we're going to go into a shoulder roll. I want you to focus on pushing the ground away from you and rolling your shoulders both backwards and forwards, really trying to get that movement all around that shoulder and neck area. Then we're going to go into a Cossack stretch. You're going to put one leg out to the side or you're going to rock forward and back. If it hurts to have your leg out to the side, you can always add a pillow under your knee or you can have your knee with a slight bend. As you rock forward and back, the foot that's out to the side, the same side arm will reach through and cross. That's called thread the needle. And you're going to be doing this on both sides. This is going to work on stretching and getting that adductor nice and released. And again, make sure you breathe as you go through the action and stop the video to do a little bit more if you have a side that seems to be a little bit tighter than the other. This is just to kind of inform you on how to get started on some of the key stretches and yoga poses that might get you ready for activity. Then we're going to be going into a hamstring stretch. Now, if you have a hard time reaching for the ground, go ahead and find a chair or something to sit on and reach for your toes that way. The key is to keep your back flat and lead with your chest. So after that, we're going to go ahead and come all the way up. And I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in and then bring your knee into your chest and get that hamstring stretch, your glute stretch. And then if you can, grab your toe and extend it out. If that's just not even possible, put your foot up on something, you'll get a very similar effect. And we're going to do this on both sides. So hug that knee into your chest and then eventually reach for that toe. Then we're going to do a deep squat. If you can't quite get low, you can always sit on a pillow or you can get as low as you can, maybe even sitting in a chair and pushing those knees out, or you can put your arms out in front of you. If you have good mobility in your hips to begin with, you can do a knee drop, which is an internal rotation exercise. This is more advanced, so if this isn't for you, don't worry about it. We'll hopefully get you to that point where you can do this. Now I want you to go ahead and stand up, take a deep breath in, and then we're gonna go ahead forward fold all the way down. We're gonna do a half lift, and then you're gonna collapse all the way down and get that forward fold hamstring low back stretch. You can walk your hands over to the side and get a little bit more of a lat and QL stretch, and you can do that on both sides. Just try and relax your neck as much as possible. Widen your feet, which will be a wide leg stretch. And again, relax your upper neck. Keep your legs nice and solid. Flex those quads so the hamstrings get a chance to relax and just hang. You can grab both arms behind you, clasp your hands. If you can't quite clasp your hands, you can grab your elbows. And this is a chest stretch and a shoulder stretch. Again, just focus on your breathing and shake your head and nice and relaxed. Now try and hold this stretch as long as you can and you'll feel the muscles relax. Now, if you have a hard time relaxing in that stretch, go ahead, put your hands on a couch or a chair and just kind of push into it that way to kind of get your back to be a little bit flatter and also to get that hamstring stretch as needed. So next we're going to take it into a runner's lunge. We're going to take one foot forward. We're going to reach the arm up towards the side. The foot is forward. And then we're going to pull back into a hamstring stretch and pull those toes back. Again, lunge forward, reach that arm up, squeeze the glute of the leg that's back, and then pull back into a hamstring stretch, pulling our toes up towards us. Now, if we have a hard time getting to the floor and straightening our leg, we can always raise our hands up onto a couch or something higher, or we could even put our foot on a couch or a chair and do a hip flexor hamstring stretch. But again, key focus is make sure when you do your hip flexor stretch, you tuck your pelvis under before you arch your back into the stretch to avoid using your lower back. Then we're gonna cross a leg over in the front into a moving pigeon. I don't want you just to jam that knee down. I want you to kind of sit into the hip, make sure the knee is protected and supported at all times. If you have a hard time even getting in this position, you might wanna try it off of a chair or couch or even a counter and just kind of move around. You don't need to release all your weight into your hip if you're not prepared. And then after that, we're going to go ahead, straighten our leg into a pyramid pose one last time, back to a center wide leg stretch. And then we're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. We're gonna drop down into a lunge. We're gonna reach the arm up of the leg that's in front, and then we're gonna pull back and straighten that front leg as best we can and try and pull those toes back, keeping our toe as straight as we can, squeezing the glute of the leg that is back. So in this case, it would be the left glute. Again, if you have a hard time with this, find a couch, find a chair, modify it by bringing your hands up, and you should have more success in this stretch. This is a very important stretch for most things that people deal with an extension intolerant spine, and it gives a lot of relief. Remember, you can always put your foot up. Even if you're at the office and you need to do a quick stretch, this is a great stretch to do real quick anywhere. And you don't need a lot of tools. It's just you and you go, and it does amazing things for your spine. Now, dropping back down into that pigeon, bend the knee. Make sure your knee is not being forced down. You don't want any pain in the knee or the hip joint. Make sure the knee lines up with the hip. You can also do it off of a chair. You can do it off an ottoman, a table. Find something that works for you. And then we're gonna straighten that front leg back to a pyramid pose and then come back center and just kind of hang in that wide leg stretch one more time. And then when you're ready, you can grab your hands above your head and you can just hang in the hangman stretch and straighten those quads as much as you can. Get the hamstrings low back to release. Hands on your hips, and we're gonna bring it all the way up and then gather yourself back together. Now, go ahead and take a deep breath in and then reach sideways into a wall. The foot that's furthest away from the wall will go backwards, and you're gonna push into the wall and drive your hip as far out to the side as you can, getting a QL, side back stretch, and TFL and IT band stretch. Really good for the lateral body. Don't force it. If it hurts, do not do it. You may have one side that's tighter than the other, and it actually is probably the side that feels good is the one you should be doing most of your stretching on. We also have a chest stretch, grabbing a little bit lower on the wall and pushing the wall away with your palm. You'll get a bicep and a chest stretch. Really nice. You can move your hand up and down on the wall, but generally the lower position tends to be the better stretch for the extension intolerant spine and for the neck area for most of those people. So once you're done, we're gonna go ahead and take a deep breath in, and then we're gonna forward fold all the way down. Give me that half lift, and then bring it all the way down. Take it all the way back into a downward dog. Push the ground away from you, drive those hips up, and then you're going to come back down into a plank. If doing that position is too painful for your wrist, you can always take it off a counter, a table, or even a wall. We're gonna step 1 foot forward, the foot that's furthest away from a wall. Keep the pelvis tucked forward, and we're gonna slide our arm up along the wall, and then we're gonna open book towards the other direction. Now, if your arm does not go up and over along the wall, please do not force it. Just do the best you can, as much as you can, and just make a note of where you are as far as your mobility. Now, if you want, you can always stand up on something and do something very similar to this. It's a little bit easier to maneuver, but try not to move too much at your hips, because the idea is to move at your T-spine, which is your upper rib cage. Now, once you're done, we're gonna go back to a downward dog, and then we're going to pop back up, half lift, and then back into that forward fold for the hamstring low back, and then come all the way up, and then we're going to switch sides. Deep breath in and forward fold all the way down. Give me that half lift and collapse all the way down into a plank. Notice I'm not doing cobra. Cobra tends to aggravate extension intolerant spine, so we go to a plank instead of a cobra. Please use caution when you choose to do a cobra though. Take 1 foot forward, the foot that's furthest away from the wall. We're gonna slide that arm all the way along the wall, and then we're gonna open book with the other arm. We're gonna do this a couple times or until we feel everything kind of loosening up. Sometimes people use a yoga block up against the wall where the knee is, so the knee is not moving around too much. And again, you can always put your foot up on something like a chair, a couch, just to make it where it's a little bit more feasible if you have some knee problems or it's just uncomfortable for you to get on the ground on your knees. After you're done, we're gonna go back to a plank and to a downward dog. Lift those hips up as high as you can in the air. Now we're gonna try lifting one of your legs up to the ceiling like a 3-legged dog or a flying split. If you have any issues with this, then obviously don't lift your leg. You can always bend your knee, but just try and work on getting that hip to open up and using the glutes to raise it. Walk your toes in. We're gonna half lift and then into a forward fold. and then we're gonna come all the way up, and then stand up. Now, I want you to get a calf stretch. Push your back foot back. You're gonna turn your toe in if you typically toe out, and rock your ankle side to side and raise up and down on your toe. You can also do it with a bent knee. We're gonna get a really strong calf stretch because Achilles tend to be really tight on extension intolerant spines, and that affects the chain all the way up. It's kind of like a table that's unstable. The glass slides off because the bottom of the table's off. After we do that, we're gonna turn on our shins. We're gonna activate them. We're gonna kind of lean back into a wall. We're gonna lift our toes. We're gonna activate the shins just to kind of reset the ankle so it's in a better position for whatever activity or daily activities we're gonna be doing from this point forward. And you also are in a good position where you can slide into a wall sit to activate the quads. I like to do wall angels where you put your back up against the wall and you're gonna slide your arms up and down the wall to kind of loosen up that chest. And again, keep your lower back pushed into the wall, keep the weight in your heels and your big toe. You can even move your toes around. Once you've kind of loosened up your chest and activated everything and you're feeling good to go, I think you're probably ready for any activities for the day. Keep in mind, these are just some ideas. If you have any questions, please subscribe to our site and give us feedback and follow along as much as you can. Thank you very much. Have a great day.